and welcome to the Lapani Technologies podcast. Wow, it feels like forever since we did one of these. Actually, it's been about forever. Let's see, it's been, I would say roughly, the last one was on June 9th, so well over a month and a little bit. Well, I am sorry about the lag in between podcasts. I've been trying to work on that, but unfortunately, like I said, this is a business, and we do have clients and stuff like that to take care of, so when that's busy, this kind of suffers, so I do apologize, but all of you out there, I do appreciate you, following us and putting up with it. We do our best every single podcast we can. We actually can have one. We're not 7 days a week, non-stop. But like I said, I want to thank everybody for being, part of this podcast. Let's see, a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, before we went away on a little hiatus there was actually quite a huge thing. Well, as far as there was the keynote for Google, and that was pretty intense too. Sergey likes extreme sports, and they had that whole thing from the guy riding down on the bike. I think he would have done it if he was, if everybody didn't say, "Hey, you're the CEO," don't. But pretty intense. I want to talk about that today. One of my big issue is with the Cisco right now. Cisco's facing quite a backlash over that EA 4500 and EA 2700 cloud-based router. We'll get into that. As well as some other things. By the way, I got a lot of email. By the way, I love all the mail. I'm sorry if I don't get back to everybody, but I do my best, as well as all the tweeting from everybody. So I do appreciate it, and I apologize if I can't get back to you. I do my best to get back to everybody. One of the things I got is everybody keeps saying, well, we're talk about Tech Republic, because I know a lot of people that listen to podcasts and a lot of fans of other shows talk about Tech Republic. So I actually am on there. I've had an account for a while, but no, they're my Lapani Tech name. I was under a different name there for a while, but I'm kind of not using that name anymore. Just don't feel like it. So, but like I said, I'm under Lapani Tech now. And the old account I'm going to just close out. By the way, speaking of sites that I like, as everybody knows, I'm a big Slashdot reader. I know we got quite a few people that actually started listening to us because of Slashdot. I like to comment on some of the good stories. I mean, not everything has been great since Commander Taco left, but speaking of Commander Taco, there was actually a post on, let's see, what was the date on the post? The post was Tuesday, July 17th. He actually is over at the Washington Post. Kind of interesting, running their internet division. He says he's looking forward to continuing his interest in news, journalism, technology, and communities. It looks like he's going to be doing a Q&A. Well, he did a Q&A from 2 to 5 p.m. He actually posted it on Reddit, which is hysterical because he used to talk about Reddit all the time. Was, one of the little bit more success. I mean, it's not such a great site, but Reddit, things like that, Dig, those guys were really, Huffington Post especially was one he really admired. They kind of really did what Slashdot did, but just at a larger scale. Great site, though. I still like it, even though he's not there anymore. It's still one of the better technology sites, aggregators out there. But there are other ones, but still enjoy them. But I'm glad to see he's doing well. He took a large hiatus off, but it seems like he's back to work, which is good for him. He also redid his website too. He has a website out there, cmdrtaco.com, and it was really brutal, but he seems to have redone it. He's also my friend on Google Plus, by the way. But like I said, we'll get to the some of the things, I guess, from the keynote that we've talked about. Kind of not old news now, but I guess we'll talk about it anyway, because I was kind of impressed. The reason why I was impressed was they released the iOS for I'm sorry, let me try that one again. The new Chrome for the iOS. It's not bad. I've been using it. It's really fast. I think it's a little better than Safari, actually. The other thing is too, I've been using Chrome a lot lately. I got hacked not hacked, I should say, but I got a piece of malware on my system that was redirecting my DNS, and had a heck of a time getting rid of it. After I used rootkit to get rid of it, the box was kind of just hosed. It was a Windows box, not my Mac, but my Windows box. So I've been using Firefox lately. It's been sluggish too. It's been really slow. Everybody I talk to says it's slow. If you guys have any comments about that, just let me know. Shoot me an email. admin@lapanitechnologies.com, or my Twitter @lapanitech. It was just really slow, sluggish. I mean, it's just really, Firefox is really. I mean, I know they're making money on the Google pays them for their for the search and for all the search information, but I don't know, they've been really sluggish lately. I mean, and the other thing too is to me, Chrome's more of a developer tool. I use some tools for SEO and stuff like that, and they fly in Chrome, but they're sluggish in Firefox. Actually, some people aren't even supporting Firefox as far as certain tools go, sniffers. As far, either like, open up Chrome because Firefox isn't supported. It's kind of sad, actually. Today I went to do an upgrade on a Linux box, and I went to go to a console view, and it was like, you have to use Chrome because Firefox isn't working. So, a little disappointed with it. Still my favorite browser, but a little disappointed in it. I've been using, like I said, Chrome. I mean, on the phone. That's another thing too. There's no Firefox for the iOS. Kind of annoying. Don't know why that is either. I'll have to look that up. We'll talk about that next podcast. Hopefully, it won't be on a month from now. I guess, like I said, old news, but Android's releasing the 4.1 Jellybean. Jellybean's something that a lot of people have been waiting for. 4.1 anyway, and it's I know a lot of people that have been waiting for it, so it's good to see they're getting it out there. To me, though, the way I mean, Apple releases their iOS across platform. To me, it seems like Google's playing the same game that other cell phone manufacturers have done. They don't release it for everybody, force you to upgrade. I think that's why they're selling quite a few of them compared to iPhones. But again, you can be fought from both sides, I guess. But I don't know. To me, Google is open source. Still really, it's still really moving ahead a little bit quicker than Apple. I mean, yeah, their products are great. Their products are innovative, but they're kind of starting to fall behind a little bit. They're going to end up like BlackBerry if they're not careful. Let's hope. By the way, it looks like BlackBerry might go out of business next month. So, like I said, I think the Droid is a good OS. I mean, we all know that Google loses money on Droid to they lose money on Droid, but they make it up because they want to lock in for the App Store and they want to lock in for the search info. So, but I mean, they do make a good OS. Again, I'm a Linux guy, so I have an iPhone, but I'm a Linux guy at heart. So I still kind of admire the way Google is. And by the way, a couple other things about Google. They're getting rid of iGoogle. Very upset. Guess I'll have to go over to like my Yahoo or something like that. But the other thing too is looking. Rumors have it, by the way. We're not really sure, but rumors have it that Amazon's going to come out with a phone. So if you're a big Amazon user, I know I have a Kindle. I love it. I'm a big reader. I'm kind of a bookworm, I guess you could say. But they have really good. A phone would be kind of interesting. But by the way, I have to tell you though, I do read a lot of security books. I'm not really too much of a fiction type of guy. I'm more of an educational type of guy. But nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can sit on my tablet and just read Wikipedia. By the way, you got to be careful. Make sure you fact check some of that. If it sounds wrong, you might want to just fact check it. It's good to read, but I've had some faulty information on it. Looks like Google, by the way. Looking at the Nexus 7, very cool. From what I'm reading too, it looks like Apple's going to release a 7-inch tablet. I guess they're tired. They're trying to come down with the price. They're tired of Droid and Kindle, chewing away at their lower end market share. So it looks like they might come out with a small tablet. We'll see what happens. It'd be kind of neat to see a 7-inch tablet. I know Apple said they never would, but I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to do it. Apple doesn't like anybody having something they don't, and Kindle for $199 is really, I mean, Amazon loses money on the Kindle just to get you to lock you in for the books and the Amazon Prime, which was ingenious. So we'll see what happens with that. It's actually, I'm actually pretty impressed with the Kindle. Like I said, I have an iPhone, and that's the other thing too. I like playing around with different OSs, and to have the iOS is pretty straight across the board. So. However, I did use an Android tablet a while back. It's very similar to the Kindle. It was pretty good actually. I did like it, but I didn't go with it. But I went the Kindle instead. But I did like the Google's tablet. Windows. But we're gonna get to that story in a little bit because the new Office was announced the other day. But I'm a little hesitant for Windows 8 with the Microsoft's putting a lot of faith in it, and kind of hesitant about it only because it's. I've seen it, and they have desktop mode and tablet mode built into one OS, and I think that's going to be their I played around with it a little bit, and there's certain things you have to do in desktop mode, and I just can't imagine normal people doing it on a tablet, so we'll see what happens with that. Google announces the Google Drive for the iOS and offline editing with Google Docs. I kind of figured that was going to be coming. You have to be able to do stuff offline. Somebody goes on an airplane or somebody is in a place no internet, they need to be able to modify their documents. Actually, one of the big downfalls I've had about Google is that, everything is going to be up in the cloud, but they're starting to really understand it now. So I'm kind of impressed, actually. With Google. They're really starting to. They're going to be major competition for Microsoft and especially Apple over the next couple of years. I think I'm really impressed with them. They've just came such a long way. They're really starting to realize that you need. I remember I was reading Larry Ellison's book. By the way, he has a biography. If you've never read it, read the first couple chapters. If you read nothing else, talks about his whole theory and that years ago he was onto this whole cloud thing and because of the dial-up, it just wasn't happening. But now, his vision's really coming true, and it's making Oracle even more and more valuable. And Apple's really got. I know they're doing this whole sharing piece and stuff like that, but with the new iOS and the new Apple OS, but they need to be careful. They're just still a little bit stuck behind, and I think they need to really update their model, especially Microsoft. Especially Microsoft came a long way. They own pretty much the console market now, this gaming console is what I'm trying to say. And they pretty much. The last phone OS was a flop. But they still own the desktop, they still own the console. But Microsoft's got to watch it too, because Google could be a major competitor for them. So we'll see what happens with that. By the way, the Chrome browser improvements, Chrome, Google Drive, iOS, it's all going to be built into those Chromebooks they're pushing. By the way, Google and versus Apple TV and the Roku. By the way, I have a Roku. By the way, my girlfriend, she does listen to the podcast. She recommended it. It's a fabulous device. That's one. It is a really, really great device. I like it. Apple TV, by the way, is if you have any, Apple TV, I always had a problem with it only because it was just so, it was too limited for me, I guess. But I definitely, I had an Xbox. I just don't feel like there's a subscription that every year that goes on $50 for a subscription with the Xbox. I don't know, for $50, I'm not really. I went with the Roku instead. It's a good device. I like it. Does everything I needed to do. But Google TV has search and has a lot of other things that Microsoft that the Roku doesn't have. But I think Google TV everything. When you look at the when you compare them all together, you really don't know unless you try them. But it's depending on what you want to do with it. It depends on what you're going to buy. That's one thing that's still really diversified yet is those little TV entertainment units. It really depends on what you want to do. It really depends on what you purchase. Just remember that. So. And we're gonna. I guess let's get into. Let's finish up on the technology since we're going into the We'll go into the security stuff. By the way, Yahoo, announced a new CEO the other day. Her name is Marissa Mayer. Every time I hear the word Mayer, I think of John Mayer. Not a fan of his, but it just rings out in my mind. I don't know why. But she's announced as the new CEO of Yahoo. Hope she does better than the last couple that they've had. One thing I feel bad, we don't know if we have some female listeners out there. I really feel bad for her. She's the 20th woman to ever be, CEO of a major Fortune 500 company, especially a technology company, a male-dominated field. And then she announced only a couple days after being appointed as CEO of Google or a CEO of Yahoo. Look at that picture. She's standing in front of a Google sign. That's why I said Google.